Hi guys, welcome back to the Fortune Tech Space. Kindly subscribe to my channel if you haven't. If you have already subscribed, then thank you and thanks for coming back to watch this video. In this particular video, I had a chance to interview Kauna. Kauna is a front-end engineer in Nigeria. In this interview, she shared her journey with us and then also shared some tips, which the one I picked from all the tips she shared was as a beginner, you should sacrifice some times like your gaming time and some of your sleeping time if possible so that you can become the better version of yourself in the next few years or months to come. So that being said, let's get into the video and let's sit back, enjoy, and then learn from her journey as well. Thank you, and then let's get into the video.
My name is Kauna Hassan.
Has there been any point in time that you felt so frustrated that you be like, yo, this coding thing is not for me. It's just not for me. I want to just quit and move on with life.
And I remember meeting one of my teachers. I'm like, okay, I want to write code. Like, I just want to write code. Like, how do I write code? This
Welcome, Kauna, to this interview. And would like to ask you some few questions. But before that, I'd like you to introduce yourself, let us know where you're from, and then probably tell us a little bit about yourself before tech.
Okay. So my name is Kauna Hassan. I'm a front-end developer. Yeah. So I code in basically JavaScript. It's React, HTML, CSS, Tailwind CSS, and all that. Before tech, well, I was just a very shy girl, shy, quiet, very introverted girl. I was just always keeping to myself, all those good girls, good kids in school, you want to get the first position. You want to get the first position in class, you follow all the school rules. So I was never like rule breaker. I never skipped class or did all those things now.
Okay.
Very, very
That's interesting.
Yes.
So before we get into the very, tech questions, I would like you to, tell us I would like you to tell us how you got to know about tech and how you just got started. You got to know about tech and then you got started in tech. What prompted? But before that, did you do anything technical, like any tech stuff in school?
Well, not really. So initially, so when I was like just one, that's like 7th grade. We got introduced to this computer course. Apparently, we took computer science courses. That's from just 1 to just 3, which is like from 7th to 9th grade. And then we got introduced to this I found it very weird. It was called Cisco. Yeah.
Cisco,
so
yeah.
They came, they just teach us computer, I found it way complex, like probably because of the way the teacher was, teaching the course. But then I found it so complex.
Okay.
And then I transferred. So like after my GS3, which is like 9th grade, I transferred to like senior secondary school in another school. And lo and behold, it was still the same Cisco.
You can't run away.
Why even pushing me? Well, yeah, I think, in this new school that I was in, I found it very interesting. Like it was sort of interesting, but we didn't get to do as much practicals. But then we're introduced to like, I don't know, it's very basic, very, very basic animation. So like you get to play with like animation.
Okay.
And you get to use some software to look at the inner components of a CPU and all that. So it was quite interesting. And I remember meeting one of my teachers. I'm like, okay, I want to write code. Like, I just want to write code. Like, how do I write? This man started telling me, oh, I should use my notepad. I can use my notepad on my laptop. I'm like, come, I should just start writing what I don't know.
And notepad, and that was
Yeah, but
what?
I think
Which year was that?
that was probably SS2, which is like 9, 10, 11th grade. Yeah, but I
Yeah,
never
but I
got to
mean,
write
like, was it
any
which year
program.
was that? For, I think, was it around 2015, 2014, when the teacher recommended notepad?
That that probably around 2016, 2017 or so. Yeah, yeah,
Really?
about
I see. And
2016,
the teacher
most likely.
recommended notepad. Then the teacher must be like a very grown person who, like, started engineering at a
Yeah.
very, yeah, and he's used to those. Okay, I see. That's great. At this point, your lecturer told you that you were interested you were interested, you wanted to learn how to code, and because the Cisco staff has, given you that interest, like made you have that interest to learn more. And then you went to your teacher, he told you, okay, look at go and learn notepad. Is that what he said? Or what exactly did he say? Because I don't think notepad, going to look at
So,
notepad.
so I was basically like, I want to learn how to code. And then he was like, well, you can start from somewhere. I think he introduced me to edX. And then he now said, oh, you can write code in your notepad. I'm like, I should just carry notepad and just start writing code that I don't know. I've never seen in my life.
Okay.
Yes, but that was it. I never got to do it anyway at that point.
You never got to do it. You didn't try it.
No, I never tried.
Okay,
No, I
so
never
at
tried.
what
Because it was a
point?
boarding school. So I didn't have
Okay,
access to all those things. Sorry?
okay, cool. So at what point did you, like, say, okay, because right now we know you're a software engineer. So at what point did you actually sit down, take your laptop and start writing your code? At what point did you do that?
It all started during COVID when my aunt called me one day and then she was like, oh, there's this thing called um UI UX and I know you can do it. And then I researched on it, downloaded Figma. I was quite impressed, but I mean now if I look back on those designs, I feel ashamed of myself. But but I knew like I didn't just want to, be designing. I really wanted to be like get my hands dirty, code,
Yeah.
solve problems, solve errors and all those things. So along the line, there was this course. So it was a 7-week course on like HTML and CSS.
Okay.
And then I started doing it. It was quite interesting. I'm like, oh, this is actually fun. And then I did it. And then at the end of 7 weeks, you're supposed to make a project. And yes, I'm ashamed of that one too. So,
But were you able to
so
do the project?
yeah, but it was horrible. It was not responsive. It was
Ah.
designs, the colors, the fonts, the image, everything was horrible. But I think yes. And along the line, I was like, I don't just want to, start. And then I tried JavaScript, found it interesting, learned a bit. And then so the way I learned was very weird. So I'll go on Twitter, I'll follow like a couple of developers like on Twitter. And then some Nigerian, some foreign from different parts of the world. And especially those Indians that will come and drop threads every 2 business days. And then yeah, I was just following, and then they were like, oh, how to learn JavaScript, how to learn React. I'm like, come, you people, you did not tell me this is how it is. Like after learning JavaScript, I have to learn on that thing. And then I think along the line, I was like, this React is too difficult, so let me go to Vue.
So you keep
And then I
switching.
tried Vue. Yes. So I tried Vue. And then I didn't really get a hang of it. I couldn't get a hang of it. So I gave up. And then after some weeks, I went back to React. And that's where I've been. So yes.
Okay, so okay, I get you. So okay, so you're you got to, so let me say that man, the man that told you to, I mean that lecturer that told you to go try it out in um Notepad was, it was your kickoff. He really did, after then did he reach back to, find out if you're doing well, you're coding and all that stuff.
So he actually introduced me to edX, and then he was like, "Oh, you could learn a couple of stuffs here, blah blah blah." Like, I'm like, please, what's this? Yeah,
Okay, so
but
I have a question for you, right? So in the process of,
mm,
learning, attending that 7 weeks class and to where you are now,
mm.
what would you say about community, reaching out to other developers in terms of you getting to know more? What would you say about that? Did you have the privilege to meet other developers to teach you along the way?
So along the line, I didn't really have anybody to like guide me. So that would be probably why my journey has been really long. But then along the line I found a couple of communities and I joined, and it actually helped me, like knowing that I wasn't just alone, that it wasn't just me that was facing all these errors, because it's very easy to be in a certain environment be in a certain environment, and then you're, especially like in Nigeria here, when you're always on your laptop or your computer, like you're doing Yahoo. You are doing Yahoo.
Ah!
Or, you know, your parents, they'll be like, why are you always on your laptop? Like, what's going on? Like, why are you always here? Don't you have books to read? Don't you have things? And
Yeah,
you just can't
I get that
explain it.
feeling.
So like joining a community really gave me that feel that I wasn't just in this alone. And then seeing other people who are way ahead, who probably got into tech way beyond way before COVID. So like seeing their growth, seeing their progress. I know, like I used to admire Twitter, I used to admire people, and then they'll be like, well, I started my tech journey like 2 years ago, and now I'm going for conferences, things like that. It just sounded really fun. Like, okay, you guys actually go for conferences, you get to travel. That's interesting.
I see.
Yes. So
Okay, so in all, you are saying that, as a beginner, it's good to join a community or at least have some one or two friends who are already in the industry or you are in the same level as them, right? So that you guys could learn together, share challenges, good moments, bad moments together, right? That's what you're saying.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But has there been any point in time that you felt so frustrated that you'd be like, yo, this coding thing is not for me. It's just not for me. I want to just quit and move on with life.
So probably when I started working on personal projects, yeah.
Mhm.
So like sometimes that like at my beginning level, I'll try to code along to some, videos. And then coding along didn't really solve it for me, because I'm like, okay, you're doing it, it's working for you. I'm doing it, I'm seeing multiple errors. Like what's going on? And I had to like check Stack Overflow, check Google, check YouTube. It was a lot. It was a lot. But then like being in the community really helped me. Be alone, you have experiences or experiencing it, and you get to collaborate, you get to put heads together. You also get to share experiences. So
Are you working full time as a software engineer or you are doing a part-time contract or you are still in your learning process and all that? Which of these are you in?
so so currently I'm an intern.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm an intern as a front end developer.
Okay. What stacks are you using over there?
React, TypeScript. Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's fine.
not much, but then
In
yeah.
Nigeria, right?
No, not in Nigeria.
Oh, it's a remote.
Somewhere in South Africa.
It's a remote.
Yeah, remotely.
Okay. Okay, cool. And how is it like? How is it like working? Is this your first time? This is your first time anyway. This is your first time doing an
Actually, no,
internship or working with different developers on a project.
not necessarily. I interned around June, July, August, September. Yeah. Last year remotely with a company in Ghana. It was
Okay.
interesting. Um it was
Okay.
very interesting because I got to work directly under the CEO, and then we worked on something just it pushed me a lot
Okay.
because I remember being like I had to deliver, and I remember being under a lot of pressure, and there was just a lot of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But eventually I got it solved. And the relief I felt, it was so interesting, so nice.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, um, I would want you to, with all the experience you have and, currently you're doing an internship, which you applied for, right?
Mm.
You applied for it and you got it. I want you to
Yes.
share just some few things with people who want to get into tech right now and they just want to hear this one sentence that will move them to actually say, okay, yes, I'm going into tech and that's it, period. What would you say to a beginner who is not yet into it but wants to go into tech as of 2023?
But yes, if you want to be in tech, you have to put in the work, put in the hours. Like you have to sacrifice certain things. Probably your movie time, your gaming time, your sleep sometimes. If you can do it, you have to sacrifice some things. You also have to be willing to learn. Like you have to learn, like learn every day. Be willing, not necessarily every day, but you have to be willing to learn new technologies, the technologies that are being in use. You still have to learn them. Probably when there are upgrades, when there are certain things happening, you have to learn those technologies. On social media, also make use of social media. Follow people who are way ahead of you, people who are co-founders, who are founders, who own certain companies, who are probably senior devs or mid-level developers.
Okay.
You have to be willing to learn from them, follow them, see what they are up to, and oh yeah, communities, so join communities, learn from your peers. So aside learning from people who are way ahead of you, you have to learn from your peers, collaborate with them, work on projects. Probably if you're a front-end developer and you have some friends who are probably UI UX designers or a back-end developer, you guys can collaborate on a project and then also add to your portfolio. Make use of your GitHub, push your code to GitHub, no matter how rusty it is, push to GitHub. Um, push to GitHub, but then make sure you always go back to updates and commit to. What else? What else? What else? Yes,
Mhm.
there are lots of setbacks when you're applying to jobs, so you have to be willing to put in the time to applying to jobs, and also
I
and
think in a part two video with you and I, you are going to share your challenges when it comes to applying to job because I know you have mentioned the fact that you have applied to jobs and it's some way. So we'll talk about that in a different video. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But before you go, finally, um, I want to know, are
Mm.
you a junior developer, intermediate developer, a senior developer, and what makes you that level that you are in? So if you say you're a junior developer, why are you saying you're a junior developer? If you're a senior developer, why are you saying you're a senior developer? So that's my last
Okay,
question. To be done with this interview.
okay. So I think Now I'll say I'm towards a mid-level developer. Towards because I have a bit of experiences with implementing some core concepts like Redux, React routers, implementing APIs. I know for senior developers, they go more into testing and the architecture of the software. So that's what I'm looking into now. Looking into like learning JavaScript testing, React testing, system architectures, managing microservices, and all that. So yeah,
Wow.
so I would say
Interesting.
I'm probably a mid developer.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Kauna, it's always, nice talking to you. And this is, I talk to you on the phone and all this stuff, and I always, it's always interesting talking to you, right? And I really appreciate the fact that you accept and getting on an interview with me. So yeah, that's it. And thank you so much. I'll see you another time.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.